This type of thing was reported many times.
The pilots often described these objects were sort of fuzzy lights.
World War II, one of the deadliest conflicts in human history, has often been a focal point of unending fascination and intrigue due to its veil of unsolved mysteries. Decades later, several of these enigmatic events have finally been unraveled, shedding light on some of the most compelling aspects of the war era. In this discourse, we shall delve into 10 of the most significant mysteries from World War II that have ultimately found resolution. Number 1. The Enigma Code. World War II was a time of massive technological advancement, with both sides trying to outdo each other in terms of superior technology and intelligence. Among these advancements was the Enigma machine, an encryption device developed and utilized by Nazi Germany to secure their military communication. The machine, with its complex encryption system, was capable of generating an almost infinite number of possible configurations, making the code virtually unbreakable, and thus presenting one of the war's greatest mysteries. The task of breaking this formidable code fell onto the shoulders of the British codebreakers stationed at Bletchley Park. Their mission seemed almost impossible given the complexities of the Enigma code, until a crucial event happened. In 1941, British forces managed to capture a German U-boat, U-110, with a fully operational Enigma machine and code books on board. This provided an unprecedented opportunity to dissect the elusive Enigma code. The captured information was taken to Bletchley Park, where a brilliant mathematician, Alan Turing, and his team used it to build a decryption device they named the Bombe. This machine, with its capability of simulating the workings of the Enigma, allowed the code breakers to predict possible encryption settings, significantly reducing the time it took to decipher intercepted German communications. This marked a turning point in the intelligence war, allowing the Allies unprecedented insight into German strategies and plans. The breaking of the Enigma code remained a well-guarded secret for several decades after the war, contributing to its status as one of the greatest mysteries of World War II. Only in the 1970s, when the secrecy was finally lifted, was the world introduced to the astounding story of Bletchley Park, Alan Turing, and the crucial role they played in breaking the Enigma code, effectively shortening the war and saving countless lives. Number 2. The fate of Adolf Hitler. As World War II neared its result in 1945, one of the most enduring mysteries was born. What was the true fate of Adolf Hitler, the infamous Führer of Nazi Germany? As per the official reports, Hitler died by suicide in his bunker in Berlin on the 30th of April, 1945. Yet the lack of irrefutable evidence and the circumstances surrounding his death gave rise to a multitude of theories suggesting that he had actually survived and escaped. Rumors circulated that Hitler had fled to South America, specifically Argentina, where a significant German immigrant community existed. Some asserted that he escaped to Antarctica or even the moon. Fueling these theories were sightings of alleged Hitler doubles in the U.S. FBI files, kept open well into the 1950s, on reported Hitler sightings worldwide. However, despite the plethora of theories, extensive investigations over the years have collectively validated the account of Hitler's suicide in his bunker. One such piece of evidence came from the jawbone fragments that Soviet forces recovered from the bunker's ruins, purported to belong to Hitler. For years, the remains were inaccessible to Western researchers, thus feeding the flames of alternative theories. In 2017, a breakthrough came when a French forensic team led by Philippe Charlier was allowed to examine the jawbone fragments stored in Moscow. By comparing the bone's features with the X-rays of Hitler's skull taken a year before his death, they confirmed that the jawbone indeed belonged to Hitler. Further, they found no evidence to suggest that the fragments had been tampered with, suggesting their authenticity. Testimonies from individuals present in the bunker during the final days, including Hitler's valet, Heinz Linge, and his private secretary, Traudl Junge, also supported the suicide narrative. Both maintained that they heard a gunshot from Hitler's room on the afternoon of the 30th of April, and upon entering, they found Hitler and Eva Braun's lifeless bodies. Despite the persistence of numerous conspiracy theories surrounding Hitler's fate, the cumulative evidence now strongly supports the historical account that Adolf Hitler died in his bunker in Berlin in 1945. His demise marked the end of the Nazi regime's reign of terror, even as it left a lasting legacy of atrocities that the world continues to grapple with and learn from. The uncovering of the truth about Hitler's fate is thus an essential chapter in the resolution of the biggest mysteries of World War II. Number 3. The disappearance of Raoul Wallenberg. Raoul Wallenberg, a Swedish diplomat and a humanitarian, stands as an enigmatic figure in the history of World War II. Working tirelessly, he saved thousands of Hungarian Jews from the Holocaust by granting them Swedish protective passports and establishing safe houses under the aegis of the Swedish embassy in Budapest. However, his sudden disappearance in January 1945 has long baffled historians and sparked numerous theories. When the Red Army began its siege of Budapest, Wallenberg made his way to Debrecen, where the Soviet military command was stationed, with the intent of discussing how to provide further help to the Hungarian Jews. He was arrested by Soviet forces on suspicion of espionage and was never seen in public again. The mystery began to clear in the late 1990s and early 2000s when access to previously classified Soviet-era archives was granted. Researchers found evidence indicating that Wallenberg was indeed held as a political prisoner and interrogated by the Soviet secret police. A 2000 report by the Swedish-Russian Working Group suggested that Wallenberg was most likely executed in 1947 in Lubyanka prison. Further credence to this was provided in 2009 when Nikita Petrov, a historian and an expert on Soviet-era secret police, found a report by Viktor Abakumov, the then Minister for State Security, to Soviet leader Joseph Stalin. The report mentioned that Wallenberg was liquidated in 1947. Then, in 2016, Wallenberg's case saw its most significant breakthrough. The Swedish tax agency, which is responsible for recording births and deaths, declared Wallenberg officially dead. While the declaration didn't provide concrete details about his death, it marked a step towards closure, acknowledging that Wallenberg didn't survive his Soviet captivity. Although the exact circumstances of Wallenberg's death still hold some ambiguity, the information that emerged over time has largely solved the mystery of his disappearance. The narrative that he died in Soviet custody in 1947 is the most widely accepted one, marking the tragic end of a brave individual who risked his life to save thousands during the Holocaust. His story serves as a stark reminder of both the depths of human cruelty and the heights of human compassion witnessed during World War II. Number 4. The Ghost Army's deceptive tactics. One of the most intriguing elements of World War II was the existence and operations of a covert unit known as the Ghost Army. Officially called the 23rd Headquarters Special Troops, the Ghost Army consisted of about 1,100 men with diverse backgrounds such as artists, architects, actors, and set designers. This unit's primary objective was to deceive the enemy by simulating larger Allied forces in various locations throughout Europe. The Ghost Army's tactics involved creating lifelike tanks, airplanes, and artillery pieces out of inflatable rubber. They would set these up in strategic locations to confuse the enemy about the strength and location of Allied forces. They also utilized sonic deception by broadcasting sounds of troop movements, construction, and vehicles to make the ruse more convincing. For decades, the activities of the Ghost Army remained a well-kept secret, adding to the allure and mystery of World War II. The veil of secrecy was so effective that even high-ranking Allied military officers were unaware of the unit's existence. The Ghost Army's story finally came to light in the 1980s, when the declassification of war documents revealed the breadth of their activities. Records showed that the Ghost Army successfully conducted more than 20 deceptive operations, often near the front lines, which confused the Axis forces and protected actual Allied troops. The unveiling of the Ghost Army's tactics has not only demystified a significant part of World War II's secretive operations, but also underlined the importance of innovative military strategies. The Ghost Army's inventive approach to deception showcases an aspect of warfare that extends beyond direct combat, demonstrating the war's psychological dimension. Even though there may still be undisclosed details about the Ghost Army's operations, the bulk of their activities is now widely recognized and celebrated. This recognition honors the bravery and creativity of the men who served in the unit, whose work was instrumental in ensuring the Allied victory in World War II. Today, their contributions are a testament to the power of ingenuity and deception in the face of adversarial odds. Number 5. The Hess doppelganger theory. Rudolf Hess, once Adolf Hitler's deputy in the Nazi Party, became the center of one of World War II's most intriguing mysteries following his unexpected flight to Scotland in 1941. Upon landing, he was immediately arrested by British authorities. His avowed mission was to negotiate peace between Britain and Germany, but his bizarre, unapproved solo flight and subsequent capture were just the beginning of the enigma that would surround him for decades. In the aftermath of his capture, Hess exhibited peculiar behavior, including memory lapses and claims of amnesia, leading to theories that the man held in British custody was not the real Hess, but a doppelganger. These theories were further fueled by the perceived differences in Hess's handwriting and the apparent lack of certain known scars and characteristics on the imprisoned man's body. His refusal to see his family for many years after his arrest added another layer of suspicion. In 1987, a British surgeon named Hugh Thomas, who had been treating Hess since 1973, publicly declared his belief that the prisoner was a substitute. Thomas noted the absence of a chest scar that the real Hess would have had from a W-Walk gunshot wound. This claim gave the theory renewed momentum. Yet, in a definitive counter to this claim, a German study conducted in 2012 examined blood samples taken from Hess during his imprisonment. The DNA from the samples was compared with that of a relative, and the result was a match. This served as solid evidence that the man in Spandau prison was indeed Rudolf Hess, effectively debunking the doppelganger theory. Further confirmation came in 2013 when an international team of scientists conducted an analysis of Hess's handwriting, comparing his pre-capture and post-capture writings. The results showed consistency in the handwriting, suggesting it was indeed Hess who penned the later documents during his time in prison. Finally, in 2019, a study published in the journal Forensic Science International examined the medical records and X-rays of the prisoner identified as Hess. The researchers found no evidence to support the claim that the prisoner was not Hess. The Hess doppelganger theory was thus ultimately debunked through a combination of DNA, handwriting analysis, and medical examination. Today, the overwhelming consensus among historians and scientists is that the man who flew solo to Scotland in 1941, who served a life sentence in Spandau prison, was indeed Rudolf Hess, putting to rest one of World War II's most enduring mysteries. Number 6. The Bermuda Triangle Incidents. While not solely linked to World War II, some of the most perplexing mysteries of the period are tied to the Bermuda Triangle, a region in the western part of the North Atlantic Ocean notorious for the unexplained disappearances of ships and aircrafts. Notable among these incidents during the war were the loss of Flight 19 and the SS Cotopaxi. Flight 19 was a group of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers that disappeared over the Bermuda Triangle on December 5, 1945, during a routine training mission. Despite extensive searches, no trace of the aircraft or the 14 crew members was ever found. This incident is often cited as the defining mystery of the Bermuda Triangle. However, over the years, scientific investigation and research have shed light on these mysteries. The case of Flight 19, for instance, is now believed to be a tragic combination of navigational errors, disorientation, and bad weather. A detailed re-examination of the flight's disappearance in the 1970s suggested that the squadron's leader, Lieutenant Charles Taylor, became disoriented and led his squadron out to sea until they ran out of fuel and had to ditch. Further support for this result came from radio transcripts from Flight 19 that indicated Taylor was unsure of his bearings. The weather reports on the day of the flight also revealed that conditions were far from ideal, with rough seas and high winds reported. As for the SS Cotopaxi, its fate was revealed in 2020 when a shipwreck identified as the Cotopaxi was found off the coast of St. Augustine, Florida. The discovery was made by shipwreck explorers from the Underwater Archaeological Preserve. The ship's bell and the arrangement of the hull and boilers confirmed the wreck's identity. It's believed that the ship got caught in a tropical storm and, due to possible overloading, could not weather the adverse conditions. These explanations for the Bermuda Triangle incidents connected to World War II are now widely accepted. While they might not carry the allure of the more fantastical theories, they do underscore the inherent dangers of navigating volatile seas and skies. They serve as reminders that often the most logical explanations, human error, equipment failure, or harsh weather, are the true culprits behind such tragedies. This resolution of these mysteries doesn't diminish the losses, but instead grounds them in understandable, albeit unfortunate, circumstances. Number 7. The identity of the unknown sailor at Pearl Harbor. One of the most heartbreaking mysteries of World War II pertains to the unidentified casualties of the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7, 1941. Among these, the story of the unknown sailor stands out. The term refers to an unidentified serviceman whose remains were discovered in the sunken wreckage of the USS Oklahoma, a battleship that capsized during the attack, taking the lives of 429 crew members. The quest for identification did not end there. In 2015, the Defense POW MMIA Accounting Agency, DPAA, began a more extensive project to identify the remains of USS Oklahoma sailors. Using advanced forensic and genealogical techniques, including mitochondrial and Y chromosome DNA, the project aimed to provide closure to the families of those who perished aboard the ship. The endeavor proved successful, leading to the identification of hundreds of previously unidentified sailors. In August 2021, the DPAA announced that the unknown sailor had finally been identified as Navy Fireman 3rd Class Hal J. Allison from Kansas. He was 20 years old at the time of the attack. Allison's identification was achieved through a combination of mitochondrial DNA, mtDNA, Y chromosome DNA, YSTR, and autosomal DNA, AUSTR analysis, anthropological analysis, and historical evidence. The breakthrough was a testament to the advancements in forensic science and the persistent efforts to account for those who paid the ultimate sacrifice in service of their country. The identification of the unknown sailor marked a significant moment in the history of World War II remembrance. It resolved a long-standing mystery and, more importantly, afforded a sense of closure to Allison's family, who had for decades been uncertain of his fate. Today, the story of the unknown sailor, now known to be Hal J. Allison, serves as a reminder of the human cost of war. It underscores the significance of remembering and honoring those who served and perished, and the importance of ensuring their stories, once shrouded in mystery, are fully told. The continued work of the DPAA and similar organizations ensures that those who have given their lives in service are never forgotten, and that the mysteries surrounding their fate are eventually brought to light. Number 8. The Foo Fighters phenomenon. One of the most intriguing mysteries of World War II is the phenomenon known as the Foo. The term was used by Allied aircraft pilots to describe strange aerial phenomena seen in the skies over both the European and Pacific theater of operations. These sightings, often of fast-moving round objects glowing with intense light, baffled and sometimes terrified those who witnessed them. The name Foo Fighters was reportedly coined by the U.S. 415th Night Fighter Squadron, drawing on the then-popular comic strip Smokey Stover, in which foo was used as a nonsense word. For the airmen, however, these occurrences were anything but nonsense. The glowing objects, seen singly or in groups, would accompany aircraft, perform seemingly impossible maneuvers, and then disappear as quickly as they appeared. In the early 2000s, historians and scientists proposed that the Foo Fighters were most likely a type of electrostatic or electromagnetic phenomenon. They pointed to similarities between the descriptions of Foo Fighters and what is known as St. Elmo's fire, a weather phenomenon that causes glowing plasma to appear on pointed objects in an electric field, usually during thunderstorms. Further support for this explanation came from the fact that Foo Fighter sightings often occurred near thunderstorms. In addition, the unpredictable movements of the objects could be explained by the volatile nature of electrical discharges in the atmosphere. In addition to this scientific explanation, some historical research has suggested that at least a portion of Foo Fighter sightings could be attributed to the German secret weapon program. Late in the war, the Nazis had indeed developed advanced technology, including unmanned aerial vehicles. However, no concrete evidence linking these projects to the Foo Fighters has been found. While the mystery of the Foo Fighters may not be definitively solved, the consensus among most modern researchers leans towards a combination of natural atmospheric phenomena and misinterpretations of enemy aircraft or balloons. These explanations, while perhaps less exciting than tales of secret weapons or alien visitors, are a testament to the power of science and historical research in unraveling the enigmatic occurrences of the past. The Foo Fighters phenomenon, once a source of great fear and speculation among wartime pilots, is now viewed as a fascinating aspect of World War II history. Number 9. The Amber Room Mystery. The Amber Room, often referred to as the Eighth Wonder of the World, was an extraordinary masterpiece of Baroque art. Originally constructed in the 18th century in the Catherine Palace of Tsarskoye Selo near St. Petersburg, Russia, it was made up of numerous panels constructed from amber, gold, and precious jewels. However, during World War II, the Amber Room was looted by Nazi Germany and brought to Königsberg for reconstruction, where it was displayed in the city's castle. The Amber Room was last seen in Königsberg in 1945. As the war drew to a close, the city was heavily bombed and then occupied by the advancing Soviet forces. After the dust of the conflict settled, the Amber Room had vanished, leaving behind one of the most captivating mysteries of World War II. The second and more substantial development took place in Russia. Having given up on finding the original Amber Room, Russian authorities, with significant funding from Germany, undertook a reconstruction project in 1979. Using black and white photographs of the room, craftsmen painstakingly recreated the amber panels. The restoration took 24 years to complete, and in 2003, the new Amber Room was unveiled in the Catherine Palace, allowing the public to once again marvel at its beauty. The recreation, although not the original, is a testament to the skill and dedication of the artists who revived this lost treasure for future generations. As of today, the whereabouts of the majority of the original Amber Room remain a mystery. However, the discovery of the mosaic panel and the successful reconstruction of the room provide some closure to the tale. While the original Amber Room may never be found, its story continues to captivate, serving as a reminder of the cultural heritage lost during World War II and the efforts to reclaim and remember it. Number 10. The disappearance of Flight 19. One of the most baffling mysteries of the World War II era is the disappearance of Flight 19, a group of 5 TBM Avenger torpedo bombers that vanished over the Atlantic during a routine training mission on December 5, 1945, from the Naval Air Station Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The squadron, led by experienced flight instructor Lieutenant Charles C. Taylor, included 14 crew members in total. Flight 19's mission, designated as Navigation Problem Number 1, was a routine exercise known as Dead Reckoning. The flight plan included a series of simple maneuvers, a practice bombing run, and then a straight course over the sea to complete the triangular route. However, during the mission, Taylor became disoriented and believed his compasses were malfunctioning. His last transmission was a request for a weather check and bearing. Following this, Flight 19 and its crew vanished, leaving behind one of the greatest aviation mysteries of the time. Despite an extensive search and rescue operation, no wreckage of Flight 19 was ever found. The disappearance prompted numerous theories, including suggestions of alien abduction, Bermuda Triangle anomalies, and even sabotage. For many years, the fate of Flight 19 remained a mystery. However, decades later, investigative efforts have provided some plausible answers. In-depth research into the flight's disappearance suggested that Taylor, possibly disoriented by the setting sun and the overcast weather, led his squadron in the wrong direction, east into the Atlantic instead of west towards the mainland. One critical piece of evidence supporting this theory is Taylor's radio transmissions during the flight, in which he expressed his belief that he was over the Florida Keys, far south of the squadron's actual position. As a result, he led Flight 19 further out to sea, away from the coast. Moreover, the weather conditions that day were reported to be far from ideal. The rough seas and high winds could have easily caused significant visibility issues, adding to Taylor's confusion and disorientation. The most likely result, although still unproven, is that Flight 19 ran out of fuel and ditched in the ocean. The extensive search for the missing squadron was hampered by similarly poor weather conditions, which may explain why no wreckage was found. While this explanation doesn't hold the allure of extraterrestrial intervention or the mystique of the Bermuda Triangle, it is grounded in navigational and meteorological reality. The case of Flight 19 serves as a sobering reminder of the challenges and inherent risks faced by aviators. The brave crew of Flight 19 and their unfortunate demise is a testament to the perils of disorientation and the unforgiving nature of the sea, forever remembered in aviation history. Aviation